If heartbreak had a shape, mine would be a mosquito, small, annoying, and determined to ruin my life. It had been 3 weeks since my ex, Jaden, dumped me for a self-discovery break, which apparently included discovering the lips of a backup dancer in a nightclub bathroom. Meanwhile, I was discovering how expensive rent was when you lived alone with only a dying succulent for emotional support. Before I continue, please do well to subscribe, like, and comment as we unravel my entertaining love life. When I got an email offering a position as a personal assistant at Thorne Innovations, my first thought was, finally, the universe is apologizing. Then I saw the sender. Andy Thorne. My ex's best friend. The same Andy who once glared at me for sneezing too loudly during movie night. The same Andy who spoke in monotone sentences sharp enough to decapitate confidence. The same Andy who, rumor has it, fired his assistant because she used the wrong shade of blue in her presentation. Why me? Why now? Why did I suddenly feel like a goat being invited to a lion's dinner party? But bills were bills, and my bank account was moments away from calling the police on me. So I accepted. Which brought me to this exact moment, standing in the glass elevator of Thorne Innovations, wearing my best thrifted button-up, sweating like a sinner in church. The elevator dinged. The doors slid open. And there he was. Andy Thorne leaned against his office doorway, black tailored suit, sleeves rolled up just enough to show forearms sculpted by the gods and probably a personal trainer named Boris. His expression was unreadable, but his blue eyes flicked over me with the efficiency of a barcode scanner. Klay, he said, voice smooth but somehow judging me at the same time. You're late. I glanced at my watch. I'm 5 minutes early. He turned, already unimpressed. Exactly. My assistants arrived 10 minutes early, so they have 5 minutes to prepare for being 5 minutes early. So this was hell. Nice. Cozy. I followed him into the office, a sleek, modern space with cold lighting and colder vibes. A single plant sat in the corner, somehow both thriving and terrified. Your desk, Andy said, pointing to a small workstation outside his private office. You'll manage my schedule, filter my calls, and handle anything I don't want to deal with. Which is? People. Oh. And incompetence. Oh. And unnecessary breathing. Should I hold mine now or wait until after lunch? His lips twitched. A tiny twitch, so small I almost blamed it on the air conditioner, but it was there. Was he amused? By me? Impossible. Andy Thorne had the emotional range of a robot that hadn't been fully charged. We moved through the morning with him giving me rapid-fire instructions, all while walking at a pace fast enough to qualify as Olympic training. Then came the moment things got weird. Klay, he said as we entered the conference room, stay close to me during the meeting. Why? Because people here talk too much and you're quiet. Useful. Wow. I've always dreamed of being described like a household appliance. Again, that micro-twitch of a smirk. The meeting started, and I did my best to look competent and not like someone who'd YouTubed how to look professional last night. Andy sat beside me, leaning in occasionally to whisper instructions that somehow made my heart race more than the coffee I'd gulped earlier. Halfway through, someone mentioned Jaden's name. And that's when I learned Andy had the subtlety of a grenade. A manager said, we could ask Jaden? No, Andy snapped, tone like he'd just been offered poison. We don't ask Jaden anything. Everyone went silent. I went very still. Andy's jaw was clenched, his knuckles white against the table. Was he angry? Protective? Or did he just hate Jaden as much as I currently did? After the meeting, he walked ahead of me, shoulders tight. I hurried after him. Everything okay? He stopped, turned, looked at me with that same scanning intensity. Klay, he said slowly, if anyone here bothers you, personally or professionally, you come to me. Immediately. My brain short-circuited. Why would anyone bother me? People talk. People gossip. And you're? His eyes traveled over me, lingering a second too long. You're easy to target. Wow. Thanks. Truly inspiring. His face softened, barely but enough. I didn't mean it as an insult. He cut himself off, exhaled sharply, then said, just stay close to me. Understood. My heart did something stupid and dramatic, like flipping off a balcony into a pool. Yes, I said, trying not to sound breathless. Understood. And right then I knew 2 things. 1. This job was going to be a disaster. 2. Andy Thorne was hiding something, and it had something to do with me. I should have quit right then. But of course, I didn't. Things were already getting complicated. By my second week at Thorne Innovations, I had learned 3 things. 1. Andy walks like every hallway owes him money. 2. The office employees stare at me like I'm the season finale of their favorite drama. 3. I have no idea what I'm doing, yet somehow Andy insists I'm doing it adequately, which is basically a marriage proposal coming from him. I was at my desk sorting emails when Andy's door opened with the same energy as a plot twist. Klay. My office. Now. His tone was sharp, but the look he gave me was not. More like he was trying very hard not to look at me too long, which made me wonder if I had something weird on my face. Again. I hurried inside and stood in front of his desk. He didn't sit. Instead, he circled me like I was a suspicious package. Your shirt is wrinkled, he said. It's called texture. It's called sloppy. Well, alright then. He reached for my collar without warning, straightening it himself. His fingers brushed my neck and my whole body forgot how to behave. I froze. The air froze. Even time paused like, oh, this is getting interesting. Then he stepped back like nothing happened and said, we have a meeting. Try not to look like you just crawled out of despair. I showered today. That's exactly why I'm concerned. Before I could respond, he strode out. I followed like a confused duckling. As we walked into the elevator, 2 employees whispered loudly enough for me to hear. Is that the new assistant? The one Mr. Thorne stares at like a hungry cat? Girl, that is not a cat stare. That is wolf staring at lamb. Great. I was lamb now. Perfect. Andy glanced down at me. Ignore them. I am. I just didn't know I was edible. The corner of his mouth lifted, just slightly. At this point, I wasn't sure if I was hallucinating or secretly unlocking rare Andy expressions. We arrived at the meeting room, and the moment we sat, Andy leaned toward me again, close enough that I could see the tiny gold flecks in his eyes. If I tap your leg, he whispered, it means stop taking notes. Why would you tap my leg? To get your attention. You could just say my name. I prefer tapping your leg. My brain exploded into static. Is this normal assistant training? I whispered back. Or am I being calibrated? His eyes flickered with amusement before he leaned back like a man with no shame or awareness of personal space crimes. The meeting progressed smoothly, that is until Jaden walked in. Yes, my ex. He opened the door without knocking, wearing a smug grin and a shirt tight enough to show the gym membership he owed me money for. The room stiffened. Andy stiffened. I nearly stiffened myself off the chair. Andy, Jaden said. Heard you needed a product update. Andy's jaw locked. No one asked you to be here. Jaden ignored him and turned to me, eyes widening. Klay? You work here? Why did he say it like I was a pet he lost at a mall? I forced a smile. Hi, Jaden. Yes, I work here. I'm Andy's assistant. The room practically inhaled itself. Jaden raised an eyebrow. His assistant? You. Really? Andy slammed a hand on the table. Everyone jumped, including me. Is there a problem? Andy asked, voice cold enough to frost the windows, with Klay being my assistant? Jaden blinked. I just didn't know you were hiring. I wasn't, Andy said flatly. I only made an exception for him. The entire room started mentally writing fanfiction. I wanted to crawl into a briefcase. Jaden's expression shifted, jealousy, disbelief, annoyance all blending together like a toxic smoothie. He opened his mouth to say something else, but Andy cut him off. Leave, Andy snapped. Now. Even Jaden paused. Then he turned to me and said, we should talk sometime. No, Andy said immediately. I coughed. I have meetings all week. Very full schedule. Very assistant-like. Jaden smirked, winked, and left the room like he wasn't a walking red flag wearing too much cologne. Silence. Then Andy turned to me slowly. Don't talk to him. My eyebrows shot up. He's my ex, Andy. Not Voldemort. That's worse. He literally knows my middle name. He doesn't get to say your name at all. His protectiveness should have annoyed me. Instead, my stomach did an Olympic somersault. After the meeting, he walked ahead again, shoulders stiff. He didn't say anything until we reached his office. Then, Klay. Yes. Stay close to me. From now on. Is this because Jaden showed up? No, he said too quickly. This is because people talk. And I don't want you uncomfortable. It took me 3 whole seconds to find my voice. Do you care if I'm uncomfortable? He looked at me like the question offended him. Klay, if anyone makes you uncomfortable, I want to know. Immediately. My heart thumped so loudly I swore he could hear it. I'm your boss, he added like that made it less suspicious. It's my responsibility. Right. Boss responsibilities. Totally normal. Not weird at all. He exhaled like he was trying not to smile. Meanwhile, I felt my life spiraling into a BL drama without my consent. Lines were blurring. And I definitely wasn't ready. If Chapter 1 of my new life was chaos, and Chapter 2 was secondhand embarrassment, then Chapter 3 was titled, "Why are these men fighting over me like I'm a limited edition snack?" It started on a Thursday, already a cursed day. Thursdays feel like the universe is warming up for Friday chaos. And boy did chaos come. I walked into the office carrying 2 coffees, one for me, one for Andy. His coffee order was written in my notes app with 6 exclamation marks. Black. No sugar. No cowardice. I placed his cup on his desk just as he walked in. Andy stopped, looked at the coffee, then at me, like I just gifted him the moon. "You remembered. It was in my notes." He stared. Hard. Too hard. Klay. People only remember what matters to them. There was again his tone. The tone that made my brain malfunction like a dial-up internet connection. Before I could respond, he brushed past me, his shoulder grazing mine. Accidentally. Except Andy didn't do anything accidentally. We got to work, and for 40 whole minutes everything was normal. But of course, peace is illegal in my life. At 10:12 a.m., the devil appeared in human form, Jaden. He strutted into the office with sunglasses, a fake smile, and the confidence of someone who thinks coconut oil can fix all his problems. "Klay," he sang like he wasn't the reason I had emotional trust issues. I froze. Andy did not freeze. Andy reacted like someone had thrown a snake into the room. "What are you doing here?" Andy asked, voice sharp enough to slice oxygen. Jaden smirked. "Relax. I just came to see Klay." Andy stepped in front of me. "We were doing that now." "You don't need to see him," Andy said. Jaden laughed. "He's not your property, Andy." "I didn't say he was." "You're acting like it." Silence. Heavy silence. The employees nearby peeked over their cubicles like meerkats at a National Geographic filming. I tried to intervene. "Guys, maybe we should." "No," they both snapped at the same time. Wonderful. I was living inside a telenovela. Jaden's eyes softened when he finally looked at me. "Klay, can we talk?" "No," Andy repeated instantly. "Andy," I hissed under my breath. "You can't answer for me." "Yes, I can." "No, you really can't." Jaden folded his arms. "I just want to talk privately." Andy folded his arms harder. "No." Jaden glared. Andy glared back. I stood between them, regretting being born. Finally I sighed. "Okay, I'll talk to him for 5 minutes." Andy looked personally betrayed. Like I just told him his suit was off the rack. "We'll be in the cafeteria," Jaden said, then grabbed my wrist gently and walked off with me. Andy's eyes followed us so intensely the back of my neck tingled. 10 minutes later, cafeteria. I sat across from Jaden, arms folded, trying to look confident, strong, mature. Instead, I probably looked like a wet cookie. Jaden leaned forward. "Klay, I miss you." I blinked. "You miss me?" "Yes." "Everything. You cheated on me in a bathroom stall." He waved a hand dismissively. I was confused. "No, you were horizontal." He winced. "Okay, fair. But seeing you again, it reminded me how good we were." "We were not good. We were a disaster with cute pictures." He paused. "Maybe. But you working for Andy? That's worse." I frowned. "Why do you even care?" "Because I know Andy," he said, tone dropping. "He acts cold, but when he wants something, he doesn't stop until it's his." My stomach flipped. "Are you saying Andy wants something?" "I'm saying Andy wants you." I choked on air. "What?" Jaden gave me a look like it was obvious. "He's been into you for months. Before we broke up." "What? No. Andy barely tolerated me." "Exactly. He barely tolerates anyone. But he tolerates you more." Was that true? Before I could process, someone grabbed my wrist. Firm, warm, familiar. And he had come to the cafeteria. His eyes locked on Jaden. 5 minutes are up." "It's been 3, Jaden bit back. "Then I'm early." Andy pulled me up gently but possessively. My skin tingled where he touched me. Jaden stood too, getting in Andy's face. "You're not taking him from me." Andy's voice dropped to a low, lethal whisper. "I didn't take anything. You threw him away." My heart almost jumped out of my chest. Employees nearby gasped like they were watching a live episode of their favorite BL drama. Jaden's jaw clenched. "You've always wanted what's mine." "Klay," Andy said, ignoring him entirely. Come with me. I hesitated. Jaden saw it. Andy saw it. The entire cafeteria held its breath. Klay, Jaden said quietly, don't let him manipulate you. Klay, Andy countered, stepping closer, don't let him hurt you again. 2 men, 2 gazes, 2 histories. My brain error. Rebooting. Please wait. Finally I swallowed. I need to think. Andy's expression faltered, just for a second. Jaden's eyes lit up in hope. And me? I left the cafeteria feeling like I had become the dumbest love triangle in human existence. Old wounds were reopening. New desires were forming. Everything was spiraling out of control. And the worst part? A tiny, traitorous part of me liked it. My brain was fried. Overcooked. Crispy on all sides. 2 men wanted me. One was my ex. One was my boss. And I? I wanted to crawl under a table and live there quietly until both of them stopped being dramatic. After the cafeteria disaster, I hid in the supply closet like a frightened raccoon. I sat beside a box of printer paper, whispering pep talks to myself. Okay, Klay. You just have to choose. Easy. Simple. No pressure. Just choose between 2 men who could both ruin your life in different but equally impressive ways. The door opened. Andy's silhouette filled the doorway like a brooding Greek statue who paid taxes. There you are, he said softly. Oh no. Soft voice. Soft voices are dangerous. He stepped in, closed the door behind him, and leaned against the shelves. Somehow he made leaning look intense. Klay, he said, we need to talk. I laughed nervously. We're in a supply closet. That's already a red flag for whatever conversation this is. Andy didn't smile. He looked serious and worried. That was new. I shouldn't have dragged you away earlier, he said. I lost my temper. You? Losing your temper? Well, shock. He actually cracked a tiny smile, but it faded quickly. I didn't like seeing him with you, he admitted. I didn't like him touching you. I didn't like him talking to you. I didn't like. Okay, calm down, Shakespeare. I get it. He ran a hand through his hair. Klay, I care about you. Too much, probably. My heart flipped like it had auditioned for the Olympics. And I know this is messy, he continued. You working for me, your ex being my best friend. Former best friend, I corrected. Andy nodded. Former. Because he hurt you. And I can't forgive that. I blinked. Why does it matter to you that he hurt me? He hesitated. Then. Because I've liked you for a long time. Oh, I said out loud because my brain had short-circuited and that was all it could manage. He stepped closer, the supply closet suddenly feeling like the inside of my chest, full and chaotic. You don't have to say anything, he said quietly. I just needed you to know. Whatever you choose, I'll respect it. It was the gentlest I had ever seen him. And it almost broke me. Before I could respond, the supply closet door burst open for the second time that day. Jaden. Of course. There you are, he said, panting slightly. Klay, please. Can we talk? Just us. Andy stiffened beside me, ready to fight like a territorial swan. I stepped between them. Both of you. Sit. Now. And to my surprise, they obeyed. I paced like a kindergarten teacher dealing with 2 overgrown, competitive toddlers. Okay, I said, pointing between them. This stops now. Andy frowned. Stops. Yes. All this glaring, growling, acting like I'm some prize in a supermarket raffle. You're better than a prize, Andy muttered. Jaden scoffed. He's not a prize, he's... Stop. They froze. I inhaled. Jaden, we were a mess. He opened his mouth. I raised a hand. He shut it. You hurt me. A lot. And yes, I cared about you. But I don't want to go back. Not to confusion. Not to jealousy. Not to wondering if I'm not enough. He looked down, jaw tight. I'm sorry, Klay. I know, I said softly. But sorry doesn't fix what's already changed. Then I turned to Andy. He met my eyes, steady, patient, unrushed. As if he already accepted whatever answer I gave. And you, I said, confused the hell out of me. His brow creased. That's not reassuring. But, I continued, stepping closer to him, you make me feel safe. And seen. And like my life is suddenly a thriller rom-com I didn't ask for but somehow, don't hate. His ears turned slightly red. Andy Thorne, intimidating CO, was blushing. I took a breath, my chest lightening. I choose you, I said. Andy inhaled sharply. Jaden stood abruptly. I get it. He gave me a bittersweet smile, the real kind, not his fake model smile. I want you to be happy, he said. Even if it's not with me. Shockingly mature. Unexpectedly painful. He walked out. No tantrum. No yelling. Just acceptance. Andy looked at me like he was scared to touch me. Klay, are you sure? Very, I said. But please don't ever fight a man over me in the cafeteria again. I can't promise that. Andy, I'll try. I rolled my eyes and he stepped closer, lifting a hand to my cheek, slow enough that I could pull away. I didn't. His touch was warm. Careful. Nothing like the cold CEO mask he wore to the world. Then he brushed his forehead against mine. Not a kiss. Something sweeter. I want to do this right, he whispered. For once, I said, smiling, same. And for the first time in months, my heart felt steady. Settled. Safe. Messy? Yes. Complicated? Extremely. But somehow, perfect.